Here we have a little bit better video. This is the video of Casey Anthony being released. We can see her with her defense attorney, Mr. Baez, and they are exiting. And you can see the security there with her. And that's important to mention because defense attorneys have said that she's received a lot of death threats since her acquittal came down. And that's because a lot of people felt very passionately about this case. They really believed that she was guilty, and they believe as a result of her acquittal that she literally got away with murder. And so you can see there are armed officers there with her. She's receiving a lot of security. Her defense team saying that they have even received doctored photos showing Casey Anthony with a bullet through her head. And so they are taking her security very, very seriously. We do not know where she's going at this point. We don't know what security the state of Florida will be providing her with, if any. We don't know if she will be having private security arranged for her, which can be quite expensive. We don't know who would be paying for any of that. But we do know that her defense attorneys have been very clear about the fact that her safety is a priority, and it's something they are very concerned about given the public outrage in this case. And you can see that the vehicle that she entered just moments ago is leaving the Florida jail where she has been held. We don't know where it's going. Now, one of the most compelling parts of this case was the relationship with the family. It has fractured the Anthony family, and her father has been very clear about the fact that she is not welcome at home. I want to bring in now NBC's Lilia Luciano and Kristen Dahlgren. They are standing by outside the Orange County Jail with more. They have both been covering this case for quite some time, and they're very familiar with what's happening here. So once we can get to them, we can get a little bit better sense of exactly what's happening. So Lilia, let's start with you. What can you tell me about the process for release there in Orange County, and also where Anthony is at this point right now, and if we know anything about where she's going?
Well, right now, Mara, we just saw the 4 helicopters that were surrounding the area belonging to the local affiliates, the local stations here in Orlando, flying over west in the west direction. I'm sorry, in the east direction, which is around where the airport is located. We would expect that she might take a flight, take a plane, and leave the Orlando area. Of course, she does face severe threats to her security. We wouldn't know who would be financing these trips. We do know Casey Anthony does not own a passport, or at least she didn't back in 2008 when that passport was asked from her, when the authorities asked to surrender her passport. So she might not be able to leave the country, but there is a possibility that the process was expedited since the verdict was given out, and that she could flee the country. In terms of her release, we just heard, Kristen and I, that she left calmly. She walked out, of course, with maybe the only person who's supporting her by now, which is Jose Baez, or not the only, but one of the few who stood by her since the beginning. And we hear that she was calm, that she walked out in a pink outfit and just leaving to her freedom, right, Kirsten?
Yeah, and the Orange County Jail here, Mara, took the extraordinary step of allowing a pool inside during this release. They knew the intense media scrutiny. They knew how many people would be outside the jail. So they allowed 3 journalists into the jail while she was being processed out. One of those, NBC cameraman Tony Zimbato, we saw him coming out. He's been feeding that video that he shot inside. So I believe that some of what you're looking at, Casey Anthony, along with her attorney, Jose Baez. There was also a reporter from the Associated Press and a still photographer with them as well. And so we'll be getting more information from them as the day goes on. But again, as Lilia said, there are now helicopters tracking the car that they believe that Casey Anthony is in, a black SUV. We don't know what that final destination will be. It's expected that she won't stay here in this area. But after a case that's captured so much national attention, there aren't very many places she can go where she won't be recognized now.
And Kristen, I want to talk to you about security because you have spoken to some security experts. Anthony's defense team has said that she's received death threats, and they are concerned about her safety. What are you hearing about security for her now at this point? Is she expected to get security from the state of Florida? Do they have any obligation to protect her? And who's going to pay for all of this?
Well, here's what the sheriff office said. They said if they have a verified threat against her, then they would provide her additional security as they would to anyone else. Before having a verified threat, their only obligation would be to protect her while she is here on the property of the jail complex. And so it's unclear at this point if they're providing further security for her. But you talk about the death threats. I was looking online today, and there are dozens and dozens of I Hate Casey Anthony Facebook pages, some that include images like Casey Anthony with a bullseye on her forehead or a gun photoshopped into the picture. And so there definitely have been threats. Her attorneys confirm there have been threats against her. They said that she was even concerned about her own safety getting out. One of her attorneys told the Associated Press that he's now carrying a gun, that they're taking this very seriously. Here at the jail today, they put up barricades. There were dozens of police officers, sheriff's officers outside of the jail. They were fully dressed in bulletproof vests. They all were armed. There were mounted police as well on scene. So a high security presence here. We're not sure if that continues now where she's going. She's expected to get private security. I talked to one security expert today. She said that it would be likely that Casey Anthony would have bodyguards from here on, not just one bodyguard, but 2, 3, an entire security detail with her. It's also been suggested that the best thing for her security may be to go to a safe house somewhere where she could be completely isolated, because there is so much attention. And talking about Facebook pages, there is also a Facebook page now that is Where is Casey Anthony? And people are being encouraged to post sightings.
Yeah, and you can expect all those sightings to start taking place as soon as possible.